I'm Kimberly. I apologize, my dog might be running around back there, but I work for a Acumatica partner named DSD Business Systems, and I also sit on a community user group board. So I'm here to share a lot of the benefits that I believe in about the community, and that I also recommend our clients and just in general Acumatica users across the world. I recommend the benefits of this concept. I obviously work from home, I work remotely. I love that about cloud software and our industry as a whole. So really excited to have this virtual event to share the benefits of the virtual community and in person, but more on that. And Chris, kind of speaks for yourself. Title there, Acumatica. Kind of a big
Chris
deal.
Hackett, and I am the community manager for Acumatica. So I manage the online community, and I also manage the program for the Acumatica user groups that meet in person. So we're going to go through both of those today. Kimberly's going to get us started, but anytime you guys have any questions, feel free to just jump in the chat.
Yep, perfect. Okay, let's get started. So as I mentioned, or as the title mentions, there is 5 huge benefits to SMBs, and we'll go deeper on these, but ultimately you have access to expertise in the community. Not only do resellers have access, other users and Acumatica as well. So that's huge. It's a free tool that you can have access to people who may have more experience than you in the product, as well as, you can actually help and kind of collaborate on different ideas about the flexibility of the platform. So I think that's huge right off the bat. Free tools are always top of mind when you're kind of learning something new, and Acumatica actually twice a year has new features and new functionality. So it's a really cool tool to kind of like peek around. You can also just lurk, which is kind of nice. There's a huge search version. But then added benefit number 2 is really that peer support and collaboration. I think the ability to have live interaction, or let's call it anytime interaction with others who are in your same shoes, or like I said, have more experience or just different experience with the product, I think is huge. And that free benefit is really something that you can basically bring back to your partner as well, like with ideas and things like that. I know that we find that groupthink is can be helpful, I guess. That collaborative environment really leads to more creative thinking about the way that your processes are currently and the way they could be in Acumatica. There's also training and just a deep library. Chris is going to go through kind of the forums and the threads, and there's just an infinite amount of things you could be learning and going deeper on in the community for sure. And staying up to date with the latest news is actually huge with the community. There are maybe 4 monthly newsletters, I think, Chris. And Chris is constantly posting in the community about what you may have missed and, general highlights, really awesome threads that just have gotten a huge engagement rate and really should be noted. And so that real-time notification to my email, I know helps me out a lot with staying up to date. And then just like this in this room, networking, it's really, really important, I think, to really bounce off ideas with each other and really find more community beyond just who you are as a user, even your company as a group of users. And that just helps, thought leadership wise, and just making sure that user adoption is really sticky as well. Anything to add on these here, Chris?
No, that's great. And yeah, we do post the newsletters that go out for partners, customers, the regular newsletter. And we also post a community newsletter a little bit separately, but I'll show that to you folks, that has a recap of everything that happened the previous month.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so a little deeper dive into each one of these. So to make sure that is peer support and collaboration is really understood, this online community is available anytime. You really can ask questions, and all levels of users and experience can see and interact with your with your struggle, I guess. So this last sentence is like, why struggle alone when you can get answers from those who've been there? I really believe in that. I think we have a lot going on as far as, product adoption and understanding the way your processes should flex and the way the products can meet you. And there's just a lot of good things that can come from that collaboration. The latest news, as Chris mentioned, the competitive edge for your business cannot be stressed enough, I think. When you can keep up with understanding where the product is going and how you might be able to creatively adjust or take advantage of some new updates is huge. And I know that not every company can be as nimble as seeing a newsletter and then changing a process, but you might be able to create your own roadmap for new features you hear about or changes in your seasonality. There's just a ton of things you can do with the information as long as you have it at your fingertips. So subscribing to those community alerts is huge. Yep, this real life users, like there's lots of you in this room right now, and this is being recorded. So hi to all of you who are watching after the fact. But it's really important to emphasize the way that the community really is a dynamic user set, but also filled with consultants, developers, product experts. Like there's just so much that you can take advantage of and tap into if you make yourself available in the community. Not even just to share, but also to pose questions, and maybe someone hasn't thought of something in the same way you have. It really can help people who are not even interacting with your posts. Just the library of interactions and threads is huge value add to not only your organization, but just in historical sense as well. So it also shows Acumatica kind of what the users are thinking. So it's entirely possible something that goes on in the community can reflect future instances of the product. So I think that's really cool. Training resources is huge. I think there is a free tool called Acumatica University that hopefully is available or is already in your arsenal of tools. But I think it's really important to note that the webinars posted, as well as just different resources that you can take advantage of or that you can at least be aware of that may not be communicated to you otherwise. So community engagement really helps you stay proactive about what's new or what's coming as far as additional training that you can get for free. I think it's really awesome. And the last, my favorite, obviously, networking. So it's not just what can you do for me. I think it's really important to note that there's true networking that can go on here that goes beyond just the product engagement and your business type. There's probably someone like you, or maybe your future client or partnership, a new partnership or opportunity could result from the networking that you do in here. Because basically the community is filled with like-minded people who love technology and really are forward thinking. So that's the kind of people that I definitely want to surround myself with, and you should too. So with that, I want to highlight these 4 key areas of focus. When you first log into community, you see these sort of pinned at the top. And these are basically touch points that we were discussing, that news and announcements. Product ideas is really cool because, as hopefully all of you know, Acumatica really tries to stay cognizant of what the need is in the product, so that two-way communication goes on in product ideas. Discussion forums are obviously kind of support, little creativity, and then there's partner forums and news as well. So my favorite part, though, is the user group meetings. So as I mentioned in my intro, I sit on the board of a user group. The user group boards are made of customers who are super users on the product, basically, and just want to help build community in their local areas. And then there's also a seat for an Acumatica representative. And that's usually someone local who works for Acumatica. And then a partner seat like myself that kind of can help with marketing and communicating and organizing, facilitating the actual community. So this is an image from one of our first SoCal user groups. And so it's meant to be like this, where it's really 20, maybe 30, maybe just however many people can actually get together and still feel like genuine connection is possible. So we really like this environment, and as much as we bring content, the users really end up talking to each other about use and what industry they're in, and it's just very cool to connect locally. So right now, locally, these are the user groups nationwide and even up in Canada. So if you are located in one of these general areas, different groups have a different frequency of meeting, but ultimately what's represented here has a group page on the Acumatica community as well. So that can be really helpful for trying to facilitate like a coffee or something that maybe isn't already organized in your area, or maybe just with like-minded users. So the online community can help facilitate in-person meetings as well. You don't have to have I think you don't have to have an official user group meeting if you want just your localized user group to have coffee sometime, or you want to just connect with others who are in your area. Definitely use these group pages to talk about relevant events that happen in your area, and maybe impact the way you use the product, or just it's a better way, I think, to connect to the people who are kind of like in your same space, I guess. So I would also say, Chris, there's definitely an evolution of this list as needs result, or as users volunteer or just chime in saying, hey, I want to have a group in my area. Can I help? Or is there a partner nearby? Or is there someone within Acumatica that can help me facilitate and organize this to suit people like myself who maybe don't have one close enough? And so I really encourage you to just be vocal about it and let Chris know.
Yeah, definitely. And folks, this is a fairly new program for Acumatica. It just started up a year ago, April. So, pandemic kind of put a bit of a squash or quash on us getting together in person. But now, we're getting together with these groups, and SoCal included. But if you're in any of these areas, please do check out the groups. I'll show you a quick link to get there so you can join and participate.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and so because I sit on the SoCal board, I just wanted to run you through what a typical event would be like if you did want to pursue one in person. This is our SoCal meeting at Q1 earlier this year. We really try to spotlight a local user, so and hopefully meet in their space. It's really awesome to have other users see another business that is thriving on Acumatica. This is one in particular in Orange County in the SoCal area, where they have such an awesome facility. They basically kit out all the Christmas decorations for, like Disneyland or the malls nearby. And like, it's just their warehouse in February looks like this. And it was just so fun to basically have a meeting within these like twinkly lights. And then also as the host location, they really did us a huge favor. And so we wanted to feature something really awesome that they do, not only spotlight their business and just how great it is, but also a super user within their business. Eddie De La Rosa also sits on the board now, but he basically got a spotlight to say, where they were and what motivated them to go to Acumatica, and what they've realized in that switch, and how it has evolved their business, I guess. So this feature is just really cool, I think. And not only that, we, have a sponsor. You see eBiz Charge listed here. They were able to provide lunch and just have a really organic environment where people can connect and learn and grow with each other. So highly recommend those in-person user groups. This was basically another piece. So user groups typically have a training component where a user or a consultant, somebody, basically shows something awesome that they do. So I hope everyone in this room that's an Acumatica user has access to dashboards, but Eddie in particular had a very cool concept that he was willing to share with the room, and also help other users get something similar stood up for them. I think he mentioned a dashboard competition within their company, and just a lot of cool stuff. So it's again, very cool to be on site on a business that is using the product and then see how they use it. That is just super cool. In addition to the client or let's call it customer spotlight and that kind of tutorial. We also had a pre-sales engineer from Acumatica come and just give tips and tricks. So again, free training, really cool, direct from the source. And it's just one of those things where if you can learn some tips and tricks in person while you eat lunch, pretty awesome. So that was my little plug for the in-person community groups and the benefits. And now I think it's a great time for Chris to show you around the community.
Sure. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is the community site, and I'm sure many of you folks have been there, but I wanted to call out some features and things that are new. When I started a couple of years ago, it was mostly just about the forums, but we've added other fun areas, as Kimberly alluded to. But just so you know, along the top, you've always got the menu bar, and this is role-based, so you're going to see the things that you have permissions to see. So if you're a customer, a partner, you're going to see these product download areas, you're going to see the support area, etc. You're going to see your area for partners if you're a partner. The search is your friend. Always, if you want to find something quick, that's the best place to do it. You can just type in and it starts searching. If you see something right away, you can get it. But it's pretty quick about being able to, drill in. And maybe you want payroll that, has to do with construction or payroll itself, or et cetera. So it's really fast to use the search. And you can even go in by tag. So if you're looking for, government or time cards or something like that, jump in there. The search is very powerful. Our folks on the community are very helpful. But if they find something quick in the search, they might nicely point it out to you that, oh, by the way, did you see this here? I just did a search here. So this slide shows our number of members. We just passed 20,000 members. This is great. At Summit this past year, I think we were at 16,000. So we've already added 4,000 members. We add about 500 a month up to our membership, which is really good. It's been going strong now for quite a while. These are the four main areas that Kimberly pointed out, and these are the main landing things that folks use. So if you're looking for any news and announcements, you're going to be able to get those very quickly. And then you can drill in by, your particular area. So you're a customer and you really want to see the customer newsletter that just came in. You can flip over to that section right there. And then in each of these forum categories, there's a subscribe area. Obviously, I'm subscribed, so it says unsubscribe, but do subscribe to the areas that you're interested. I always recommend that folks subscribe to the news and announcement section that they're interested in. And then we're going to look at a few other sections that I would recommend as well. Obviously, if you have ideas for the product, so, you entered a question saying, hey, I'm trying to do this. I can't seem to find how it works. And somebody says, well, I don't think it does it that way, but you're welcome to enter, put an idea in. Then go ahead into the product ideas section and just put an idea. As you start to type in an idea, it'll search for you to see if there isn't something that already exists and you can comment on it or vote it up. As we go down, we've got a couple sections here just that we feature. So every month we feature a community member. That could be any community member. It could be a partner, a customer, one of our Acumatica employees, one of our service consultants, etc. This gentleman, Daryl, is featured for September of this month. And you can read all about Daryl here and see a satellite image of somewhere over his house or approximately where he lives. But this is fun because folks get to know each other. We do feature folks that are very active in the community. So they're most of the time people that you're going to recognize as one of our experts that's been helping everybody out a lot. We also feature any upcoming sessions, things like that. We do monthly mentoring sessions, webinars, tips and tricks sessions, etc. This month, for instance, Naveen Boga is doing a mentoring session on webhooks. This is a limited session to just 10 to 12 members. So that's what the mentoring sessions are meant to do, is just be a few folks getting together who are very interested in a topic with a real expert, and it's a small group, and they, get together, collaborate, and talk about that one subject. We do record them though, so everybody can see them. We do have larger webinars. We'll look at that in our resource library here in a second. That, a few hundred people will be attending, but this one coming up in September is a small mentoring session. And then, of course, you've got the regular, recently active forums, help others section. So these are 3 areas. The site defaults to recently active, so you can see the most recent posts that are in the community. If you're just interested in a particular forum, so you're interested in, say financials, you can go in to click in and again, subscribe to that forum if that's your area of interest. And then you can see the most recent or most replies, most views, that kind of stuff here. And then help others. If you're just looking for questions that have not received an answer, this is a quick place to do that. You might see something that you might be able to chime in on. You can always see how many responses are there already. So they might already have an answer, they just haven't marked it. But there might also be things, for instance, this one has no responses and about reports linking from screens or whatever, you could jump in and help out with that. This little widget section here is pretty important, especially if you're new. There's an area here to get started. This walks you through getting started and even just how to post your first question. We just had one of our power users put together a really good document on posting questions, how to post, what are good descriptions, good titles, so that you really get a response from people. And then there's the getting started talks about some of the stuff I've talked about here. So definitely check this out if you're new. And then introduce yourself. We have an introduction section here. So we got folks from just about everywhere, howdy from Tulsa, that kind of thing. So this is a really neat area. If you haven't seen this, to go ahead and put an introduction in. Folks find each other in the same state or like, oh my gosh, you're like 2 counties over or something like that for me. So definitely check out the introductions and please put your own in. We talked about, Kimberly talked about the user groups. So here's a quick link to the user groups, gives a description of what the Acumatica user groups are about, and then links to each of the groups here. So you can click on these, and then if you're not a member, you can request to join. They are private groups, so you do need to get approval, etc. But you all get approved. But yeah, so just go ahead and any of these that you're local to, pick your group and you can request to join your group, and then obviously participate in any events or online stuff that they do with the group. Educational resources. This is something that I think is underutilized, but help.acumatica.com, besides Open University and Partner University, is a great resource here. So we do have that link on the community site because I really want to call that out to people. There's so much information if you're looking for something and you can't find it right away, or you just want to read more about project accounting or something like that. These educational resources are free and open to everyone. The community has started its own resource library. So this is where you're going to find a consolidation of the things that we do. So I mentioned the webinars. So our last big webinar was in July. You see that here, but we do record all of them. So they're all put up here. Here are the mentoring sessions. So we've just we've got one coming up and we've had one already. All of these things we mostly started at the end of last year, beginning of this year. So we're still building this up. We also have a tips and tricks section. So these are specifically, most of them are done by our power users that we've identified, but anybody can put a tip or trick in. And there's a tag that anybody can use, tips and tricks, and you can get featured in this area here as well. And then blogs. We do have folks that are blogging, especially our dev MVPs do blogs. So you'll find those all listed here as well. And last thing is, Kimberly mentioned newsletters. We did see over here that there are the different newsletters, the customer, partner, ISV, etc. But besides that, we have a community newsletter. It's called What You May Have Missed, that's separate to that. And I put that together every month. And you can see that here, and there's, I'll call out our featured member, any upcoming user group meetings that are coming up. We've got one coming up, well, Utah is done, but we think we have one coming up in Chicago soon. I'll include all the product updates. So if you missed a product update, they're all listed here from the last month. Any tips, tricks, helpful information from the previous month is going to be listed. We've got quite a bit. Obviously, quick links to our newsletters. Any upcoming events will be listed here. Here's acu-connect right here. And then if you missed an event, we'll include a link there so that you can go back and check it out. And that is pretty much it. You also see we do have our user leaderboards here. So we call out folks, both employees of Acumatica and other users or partners and customers, etc. So you can see who our heavy hitters are, either by the week or all time. And then if you're curious, you can see all the way to the top, I think 100 or whatever, folks that are in here and who they are and their badges and stuff. There's an events calendar here. So we do put the events that are up on acumaticaevents.com. So you'll see those. You see acu-connect is up here. But if you just want a quick link to all of the events, we do include those as well here. And then some popular tags. So hopefully that shows you folks a little bit more about the community, and that, it's a little bit more than just the forums now, that we have other things going on. So I do encourage you to jump in on a webinar, jump in on a mentoring session, etc. Share a tip or trick if you'd like, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to note that it's an online community and so powerful as well as your local community if you are close or you want to start one. So Chris, I see your question in the chat. It is, what is the best way for an ISV to get involved to help sponsor lunch, etc., at a local Acumatica user group event? So I want to draw the attention to the contacts or the group board members, I guess, within a group. Is that something you can show?
Yeah. So each of the groups, we'll go into your group.
Yeah.
So each of the groups has the leaders, as Kimberly mentioned. So you can see that here's Kimberly, Roman, Kaman, and Eddie are the leaders for the SoCal group. And these are the folks that if an ISV is interested in potentially sponsoring, they would talk to these folks about doing a sponsorship for them. They can reach out. Their email addresses are here. If you're interested in getting on a list of sponsors, we do have a private group that's just for the leaders of the group. Let me know. And what I'll need is, link to your information, a description, a contact, that kind of thing. And then we'll add that to the list of potential sponsors that we post for the leaders of the group that they can check out when they're looking for somebody to help out.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Chris. And thanks for your question, Liz. We have 1 minute left. So any other questions or anything? Well, it must have just been so thorough that we have just been covered every base. So if that is the case, then I'm really happy to have this opportunity to share with you all. I think it's such an amazing tool, and not every publisher has it. So I really do believe that this is a huge value that SMBs in the space should take advantage of. And little plug for in-person meetings too. I know virtual environment is where we all live daily, obviously on a cloud product, but it's really nice to get connected in person as well as at Acumatica Summit. So stay engaged, and thanks for being part of the community.
Yes, thank you, folks. And if anybody ever has any questions about the community or the programs that we have in there, feel free to reach out to me as well. My information's in the introduction part. And you can just ping me. So thank you very much.
Great session, Kimmy and Chris. Thank you so much again for supporting acu-connect and for also supporting the Acumatica community. And we'll continue to grow each other's communities together. Thank you again, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks everyone.